Good evening. Well, the day finally arrived. Decision has been made. D-Day is here. The Florida coach is Billy Napier and will be so for a while, at least through next season, unless he gets fired. Many of you will hate that decision. Some will like it, and some will say, I have no idea. It was a tough call, but it had to be made. Something had to be done. Was it the right thing to do? Well, we'll talk about that tonight on the program with our cast of stars, including Ben Troupe will join us shortly. We'll get his take on. I don't know how Ben stands on it. I think he probably is in favor. Franz Bears at the basketball game where the Gators are leading, I think 46-32 over Jacksonville. He'll check in later. We'll have Loren Meadows, the coach, will join us. He's on his road tonight on the way to Texas, going to the game out in Austin. And then we've got a guest, Frangie, who dropped by. Frank, of course, well steeped in Gator lore and history. Want to hear from you tonight. It's your turn. What do you think? I know we'll have a lot of varying opinions. That's okay. We do that here. Either way, it's okay. We like opinions. We like your thoughts. And we like doing this show, which is called The Buddy Martin Show. And we will tell you about that coming up next, right here on this channel. Tell your friends and neighbors. The Buddy Martin Show is, in fact, on the air.
Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome to the program. It's going to be a good one because many of you agree and many of you don't agree of the decision by Scott Stricklin to extend Billy Napier through next year. Decision made today. He announced around 10 o'clock this morning, I guess 11 o'clock Eastern time. I'm in Central now, that he was bringing it back, and we'll see what happens. I know many of you have theories and opinions, better, worse, whatever. There's a couple of interesting scenarios I like out there today. We can argue all day long whether it was right or wrong. I've got my reasons. I kind of tried to tell you about it last night. I came on the show and I told you, I wrote a little precede that we're hearing things about Billy Napier. Well, one of you accused me of putting clickbait out there. Well, I don't use clickbait, okay? But we did put that up last night and told you we're expecting some things that we did hear from. We're going to hear from Franz Beard in just a moment. He'll be joining us. He's for halftime of the basketball game. I have one particular theory. From the business standpoint, clearly, whether you're a Gator or not a Gator, what's the right thing to do? You got $26 million sitting here, right? That you're going to pay the coach to leave and not knowing exactly who's going to take his place. Got an idea. We heard names bounced around for quite some time. We all have our mentions. It's Lane Kiffin. It's this guy, but really no clear-cut person to do that. And so you're going to send a guy packing with $26 million of your money, and you're going to go out and rebuild and get players, which, by the way, today cost money. Players cost money. The simple mathematics of this, whether you like Billy Napier or not, is if you would have had to pay $26 million for him to go away, what if you didn't pay that money and you took $15 million and went and paid some players to play for you, because that's the way it's done these days. That's how it's done. So, I mean, yeah, economically that makes a lot of sense. And I don't know that Billy's a terrible coach. I do think he's shown some improvement. We all know about that. We'll hear from Frangie later tonight, his thoughts after the Georgia game. Let's go to the big guy, the star of the show. He's all the way up there in Swainsboro and Savannah. Join the program again tonight. I'd like to know his immediate response when he heard Scott Stricklin was extending Billy Napier. Evening to you, Ben.
Ooh, buddy. Listen, let me. Okay, I'm gonna be all the way honest. When I saw it first, when I see Scott Stricklin making a declaration, I'm thinking to myself, okay, did something dramatic happen? Is it finna send? I said, was it gonna send shockwaves? And it did. It did. Now, buddy, I gotta say this. This is what I think Scott Stricklin was thinking. In a world with so much uncertainty, when you talk about the coaching position at the University of Florida, when you talk about football, he said, okay, I've seen enough promise 2024 to halfway feel decent about 2025. But here's the thing, though, buddy. Here's the thing. Once again, we're doing things in Florida that's never happened. Never seen an AD come out and show this much, I don't know, love or respect or appreciation for a coach that has more than underachieved. Now, buddy, I got to give you a lot of credit. You kept saying, I think he's coming back with 2025. I think he's coming back. Here's the thing, though. Do you got to make declarations about it? Do you got to put out statements about it? Like, if this could have waited until, no, because I'm going to get off topic. This is why I think they kept him. This is why I think. DJ Lagway is one. Early signing day is another thing. You got a lot of recruits that have fallen in love with Florida, Billy Napier, his style of coaching, the players that he has. And, buddy, I got to say this, though. 7.4 million people watch Florida, Georgia. Mm-hmm. It's the most watched Florida, Georgia game ever. And, buddy, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this. You down to your third string quarterback. Mm-hmm. It is 2020 with 6 minutes left in the game. But there ain't no better recruiting because here's the thing. Most of these players coming in know I can't beat out DJ. But are you willing to trust me in a game of this magnitude? And they did. Now, we didn't get the victory, but buddy, I think that what the world is seeing is different than what's actually, going on at Florida. We talking about the wins and losses, but lost to Texas A&M, good team. Lost to Miami, undefeated. Lost to Tennessee, got one loss. Lost to Georgia, number 2 team in the country, right? Quality losses, all losses. I'm not taking no moral victories. But, buddy, early signing day, DJ Lagway, a pretty good recruiting class. We'll see how that ends up looking. And it's going to – and now these last 4 games, we're going to be saying, all right, man, let's see what we can do. But, buddy, it's just – I think Scott Stricklin knew, and I'm going to say this too. Lane Kiffin's coming to town. Last game in the Swamp. It was a bunch of speculation before the season started. If the season don't go well, they're gonna back up a truck, and head to Oxford. Well, obviously that's out the window now. I just think, buddy, desperate times call for desperate measures. I am not Scott Stricklin. I don't know why he had to do the public statement. I'm not mad at him, by the way. I'm not mad at him, but this was on ESPN.com. I mean, this was one of the big stores. Now, yes, and I see Rob saying, yes, 6 and 7, 5 and 7, 4 and 8, stay in the course. I gotta say this. If we, as Florida enthusiasts, former players, lovers of Florida, we got to get behind Billy whether we like it or not. And we're gonna still be critical, buddy. We're gonna still be critical. Say all the things. My former teammate Steve Harris is the best example. He's all on Twitter or X, being a mouthpiece between the players and the fans. And obviously, I told Steve, look, you ain't gonna win that battle. You're gonna be up all night. But buddy, this is such an uncharted territories. Usually, coaches get extensions based off what they've done. Usually, Coaches get a vote of confidence based off what they've done. Is it the hardest schedule in the country? Is it being tied with the number 2 team in the country? Is it a game away from beating Tennessee? I don't know. I don't know what goes into Scott Stricklin, but I will say this. Scott Stricklin's probably said, if I go with somebody new, I'm starting over, and we don't know how long that's going to take. If I stick with Billy, and you know this, buddy, just say we finish the season, 6 wins, 7 wins. Well, that's what we said they was probably going to do before the season started. But it did throw me off when I saw it, because I'm thinking at first I'm thinking, is this one of the players saying they finna transfer? Thank you for my time, because that's what you usually get. Thank you for my time in Florida. I'm like, that's Scott Stricklin. So but I know it threw you off too, because like I said, buddy, in your years of watching Florida, you can say, I thought I've seen it all and done it all. I thought I've experienced it all. I don't know why Scott Stricklin did it, getting ready for this game or this time right now. But I think that Scott Stricklin said, look, I'm not saying that this is going to be his defining moment. I don't know if AD's get defining moment. But he said, but I got to say this though. He had to say something. And I didn't know it was going to be now. He had to say something at some point. This was the point. And like I said, it's a head scratcher. But I think at the University of Florida, Scott Stricklin just proved something else, which I already knew, and you know, buddy. Whatever happens at Florida matters. You say something, you put a statement out on X, it's on ESPN, it's on all these sport networks. But buddy, I would love to get your take on it, only because
I'll give you my take right now about it. It's a lot. There's a lot there, and I want to start by saying that I too have been critical of Billy and of Scott during the year. I was disappointed they didn't turn the corner. They had some winnable games, certainly Tennessee being one, and they could have beaten Georgia perhaps if DJ hadn't got hurt. But here's the thing to think about. Don't just go make a move to make a move.
Yes, sir.
Have a plan. And I'll tell you why I think Scott Stricklin did it when he did at a public announcement, because he needed to be out there. There was too much negativity about Florida now, especially with the young quarterback hurt. And recruiting season is coming up. They don't know who the coach is going to be. They can't get anybody to come visit because they don't know who the coach is going to be. They had to make a decision. Fire the guy or extend the guy. And to have fired him now would accomplish what? $26 million out the door. Go find me a new coaching staff. Not to mention the coaches on 2-year contracts. There's a bunch of them. Like Dan said earlier, more like $40 million. And I know they got the money. And my theory last night was, okay, Ben, I'm going to give you all the money you want, checkbook. You go hire whoever you want to hire as a coach.
Yeah.
Spend any amount of money you want to spend. Who are you going to get?
Woo, man. Okay. See, buddy, here's the thing.
You don't have anybody. You don't have anybody.
No,
just
buddy,
like else.
But here's the thing, though, right, buddy? And I agree with you. And I'm looking at the comments saying maybe they done had a meeting with Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin said no, buddy. I think this is the thing. We got to be open and honest about it. There are certain coaches you can't get. There are certain ones, and I'm not saying
who do you want that you could get. I mean, who do you? Let me break it down for you.
Mm-hmm.
Who go hire the greatest coach? Who's that?
Ooh.
Nick Saban. Okay, that's who it is. I'm not saying you're going to hire him. I'm saying if I'm just giving you a blank check and said, give him $100 million for 5 years, are you going to go wave $100 million under Nick Saban's? Let's say, come coach the Florida game. I'm just saying, maybe not. Until you're willing to do that and step up and go get the best. Now, then who's the next best guy? Nobody worth $100 million, right? And you start working your way down to we know Signetti, we know all the names or whatever. And Lane may or may not be. Lane didn't look as attractive as he did.
He doesn't.
But so get through the names and then say, who's the best coach? Who's the guy? Spurrier's not going to come back to Rivers not coming here. You want to go up and hire Clark Lee? He's a hell of a coach, and Vanderbilt, So you really, when you say, who am I going to hire to replace him for my $26 million, you got nobody. You got nobody, And
But
so,
buddy, a lot of people are in the same boat as Florida when you get to talk about who you're going to hire. When you talk about teams that are, trying to play for, 12-team playoff, make it to the national championship. I think what Scott Stricklin realized, and I give you a lot of credit for what you said. He go, look, man, he had to say something. A lot of negativity going on around Florida. I think the thing now, is it ever going to be, I know people see Lane Day or, a Signetti. Let me tell you something. Lane Kiffin winning at Ole Miss. Coach Day winning at Ohio State. I see what Coach Signetti is doing right now at Indiana. That ain't Florida, man. Like, it's just not. Urban Meyer and Coach Spurrier sit in the room and they can talk about old times and, what they've accomplished. But when they get to talk about how hard it was, how extremely difficult it was. And I think that's the thing, buddy, because think about it. We talk about the gap between Spurrier, Urban, and everybody else. We've been trying to find something close to that. Dan Mullen did a good job.
Look, I'm telling you, I'm tired of hearing Dan Mullen's name. Here's what people are doing. They're revising history. All right. Dan Mullen quit on his football team.
He
all
did,
right?
No. You're right.
And by the way, he got in trouble with the NCAA and had a show cause. So don't compare Billy to Dan Mullen because Billy didn't get in trouble with the NCAA.
Oh no. I'm saying, buddy. Here's the thing.
Everybody's doing that. Stop doing it.
When we get to talking about what makes the University of Florida so difficult, right? I'm talking about the gap. I'm talking about Spurrier, Meyer. It's been a huge gap since, and you've had talent, you've had moments. People gonna go back to when Coach McElwain had Will Greer and what could have been, but it didn't. Right? And all I'm saying is, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Most of these schools we talk about that want to win, they've never won it all. They've never represented the conference, been in Atlanta, and Florida has, and I think that's what makes it difficult. They're talking about that. Hey, man, Lane Kiffin just went 11-2 last year. That's the greatest season ever in Ole Miss history. Did they go to Atlanta? No. Are they going to Atlanta this year? No. Do they got a shot to make the college football playoff? Yeah. And I think that's the new barometer. The new barometer is not winning the conference, not going to Atlanta. You want to win it now. Can you be one of the 12? Because we said this, buddy, it might benefit you more not going to Atlanta because the loser don't go. And you got 3 other teams that could go. So I think what Scott Stricklin is saying, because of the 12-team playoff, he sees more of a route to make it to the because it was going to be hard for us to go with the old model. Who was that saying hello? What's up, Jay? Who's that over there? JLB. But I just say for me, buddy, you're right. I am never comparing Billy to Dan. Just like I will never compare any other coach to Coach Spurrier to Urban Meyer. You got tiers, right? I'm just saying, for our sake, the greatest thing ever happened to Billy Napier was making sure he got DJ. He's going to stay a whole nother year, a full off season, a full recruiting process with DJ Lagway, because people have seen it.
There's an important point right there. There's about 5 reasons. And by the way, I'm not campaigning for Billy.
No doubt.
I haven't been up here waving a flag for Billy. It's just by the reduction, by the process of elimination, you wind up with something. And wait a minute, this looks like it's the answer. And I think the thing is that you look at the reasons. DJ Lagway is a huge reason. You want to bring him back. You got to have him back in the program.
Yes.
Then take the $26 million and say, take 15 of that and spend it on players. Go to the portal and get players. You can buy players now. Go get them, right?
Yeah. Now you got to. Now you come out making statements.
Quick fix. It's a quick fix, and you can be competitive next year. I don't know how good a coach Billy is yet. He hasn't proven it yet. I can understand those that want to get rid of him. But what are your choices? Instead of saying, here's the problem, give me a solution. I don't hear anybody giving me a solution. I haven't heard one name except maybe Lane Kiffin that makes any sense whatsoever to me, bringing him in. And I'll tell you something else. take the coaching, as I said to Frangie, we're going to play this bite in a minute, you'll hear it. You see the effort he got out of his football team. I know they didn't win. I don't believe in moral victories. I'm not telling it. I also have eyes. I see. Yeah. I can see how much better a football team is playing. Why? Why are they playing better? The coaching staff did something right, okay? And you can see it if you know football, you follow football, you know what motivates players, and you see a team is playing. By the way, I don't see players quitting and walking out.
Yeah. And buddy, that goes a long way, right? Because think about this, right? We talk about building a culture, and that's going to mean something different. That's going to mean something different. By the time I got to Florida in 2000, the culture was already built with Coach Spurrier. Ron Zook was starting to do something, but then he lost Mississippi State. Coach Urban Meyer comes in, and he picks up where Ron Zook left off. When you start talking about now, buddy, that's one thing. 7.4 million people saw the University of Florida down to their third-string quarterback almost beat Georgia. And you know what the perception was coming out of that game? If DJ we don't know what happens if DJ plays. But what was the overall perception? Had he played, they would have won. And buddy, that's the hardest thing to do is to win the perception game. Now I know we live in reality. The reality is you got to win. But part of college football, part of anything special, is the perception of it. When I play for Coach Spurrier, and I tell people, I go around the country, hey man, where you from? Where you play for? I play football. For who? For Florida. Who? Coach Spurrier. Oh man. His perception and reality were very close. I'm not saying Coach Spurrier did all you can do with college football, win the Heisman, coach a Heisman, win the first national championship. But I think the thing about Coach Billy Napier was the product on Saturday sold. Whatever that product got to sell every Saturday. First week of the season, it didn't sell. Texas A&M, it didn't sell. Tennessee, it sold. Mississippi State sold. UCF sold. But when 7.4 million people saw Florida play Georgia, for a moment, but people was like, Georgia ranked number 2? Yeah. It's tied 2020. So to me, you got to give him. We giving him. We moving the goalposts, giving him credit now. Because we giving him credit for, because at first, buddy, we used to say they quit. They ain't even playing out there. Like, remember we were saying, we're not too many games removed from saying, who is that? Since UCF, Tennessee, they've been playing. They've been playing hard. Coach Will Harris has earned every single dollar since he walked on campus with these DBs. So for me, buddy, I give him credit for that. I just think this Scott Stricklin situation, to me, I don't like doing things that no other AD does.
Okay,
you don't got to do that.
He's had to survive as well. Stand by a second. I want to hear from Frangie for a couple of minutes. We're going to go hear from our sponsor and come back to more of Ben Troupe. You won't miss Ben. He's got plenty to say tonight.
I'm not sure Billy Napier's a great coach. I'm not sure he's going to be the coach for forever. He still does some things that drive me crazy and probably does you too. But look, they found something. They're playing hard. They're playing for him. It's very clear they're playing hard. There's some good young players, Lagway among them, but he's not the only one. Jaden Boss, some of those secondary guys. Why break that up now? In the NIL era, your coach leaves, you're going to lose a lot of your players. I haven't seen enough now to know that he can't be the coach. I know everybody wants the coach fired these days. Every team's like that. But I think they did the right thing. If he's the wrong guy, you'll know soon enough and fire him next year, the year after. But we don't need to be in a rush to get rid of a guy. And by Scott Stricklin coming out and saying that today, that gives him a chance to recruit. It gives him a chance to bring players in. I like what they did. I don't know that he's the forever coach, but for now, I think it's a good move.
I think you're exactly right. And I said this night before last, before this all happened, not that many visionary, but when you just think of a solid business decision, you don't have a guy in-house. You don't have a guy identified as your guy. You don't have it properly budgeted. You don't have a consensus. You have a really good bunch of kids on the football team underachieve, but is playing better. And when you can get a team inspired to play against Georgia like they played, that is the essence of coaching. Yeah. That's all I needed to see was, okay, look, I'm not saying give him a 5-year contract. All I wrote was, Frank, like for last was, he deserves another look. And I guess he got it. And Scott Stricklin said he's coming back.
Yeah, and it's way too early. Just what you said, it's way too early to say this isn't going to stick. If it doesn't stick, then go fire him. But I like what they did. And, Buddy, it was out there too much. There was too much talk. Who's the next coach? Is it Lane Kiffin? Is it Signetti? Hell, how much longer? Do they do it at the break? Do they do it at the open day? It's been out there too much. This guy's had to coach through all that, and I'll give him credit. His guys have played hard despite all of that. They really have. So they did the right thing. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad he's still the coach there, and I hope it lasts a while. I really do.
Well, it's time now that the election's over. No matter who you voted for, it's over, thankfully. Let's get on to some more positive things now in life. And Florida has a football coach. They have him for next year. There's going to be some good things going to happen. And naturally, a lot of people are going to be unhappy. They're going to point to Billy's record, going to talk about the fact that he can't beat the rivals, etc. His recruiting has not been great. But I said none of that matters. The evidence right there on the field for you to see was they played a terrific football game against probably the best team in the country.
I agree.
That's the essence of coaching, Frank.
Yeah, and I'm with you. So I'm glad they did it. It's going to be a tough go now with DJ Lagway. I doubt he plays Saturday. Maybe he will, but I don't think so. So it's going to be a tough road. The problem, too, is the schedule's so hard.
All right. Some other people are saying we're carrying water for the administration. You must not hear this program because we've been critical quite a bit of the program when it's wrong. And we don't pull any punches. We're not campaigning, carrying water. We're just trying to get to a solution that we'd all like to see. And I don't have it. Ben doesn't have it. The athletic director made a call. Like Frangie said, if that's not right, he can be fired when it doesn't work out. I've yet to come out with anybody who had the answer. I haven't heard an answer that doesn't make any sense at all. I do know this. I do know that there's an answer for you if you're looking for an attorney, because Meldon Law will take care of that part. And I just was able to use one and able to use my friends at Meldon Law. And I'd highly recommend if you're looking for one, you do the same. You talk about tall. This basketball team Todd Golden's got, I mean, they're huge. Look like they're all 8 feet. One almost is 8 feet and pretty good. They're ranked up pretty high in the top 15 or so. Basketball, promising year for Todd Golden, the Gators. It's going to take a little heat off the pain of losing in football. What do you think about this team?
I'm very excited about the team. I'm very excited about the competition in the SEC. I think there's 8 or 9 teams that are ranked in the SEC basketball rankings. And I'm telling you, the Gator basketball team is so much fun to watch, and they've got some great talent this year.
You know, you think about the royalty in sports. We know about the football team and what Spurrier did there and what Urban did. We forget sometimes the basketball team went back to back. That was unbelievable time. Gator fans know what it's like to be champions, and you hope that Monday Todd Golden can get it back at that level.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people forget that we went to the Final Four 5 times in a period of 20 years.
Right.
Okay. 94, 2000, 2006, 2007, and the 2014 team, all 4 years they had gone to March Madness. And in 2014, when we played in Dallas, they were favored to be in the finals. So although football has a great tradition, basketball does as well. Yeah. So I think we should be grateful that we've got a coach now who's making things happen.
Very promising, and he looks like he's off to a good start. It's going to be fun to see if we can get over the hump this year. Get back to that Final Four one day. That's what Gator fans want to see, and we all do. All right, so tonight they're playing Jacksonville, and they're leading, last time I heard, substantially. Franz will join us after the basketball halftime, and then we'll see what he has to say. Ben Troupe is here tonight. We're discussing the Billy Napier thing. I've got a couple of comments I wanted to share. I appreciate it. I want to clarify because when they make about the media, I always assume they're talking about me, but this guy, Wolf Gator, wants to be sure he knows he's not speaking directly to me, but other guys locally, I listen to you quite a bit. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we do try to have some integrity, right, about what we're doing.
Yeah.
This Patino says he's afraid we're turning into Nebraska, and
All
there is
right.
that. There is, I mean, it can happen. He's right.
I mean, well, buddy. I mean, the thing is, we come on, we try, I do my best. I know you. We do our best to call balls and strikes, right? We ain't here, but I was trying to look up. Coach Kirk Cignetti record against top 10 teams. But this what I James Franklin. I'm gonna give you some names that came up. Lane Kiffin's record against top 10 teams. He's 1-10. Ryan Day, he's 10-8. These are names that came up. James Franklin is 3-17. What has James Franklin never done? He never won that championship. Lane Kiffin never won that championship, right? Never won his conference. Ryan Day, obviously, I don't know if he's played in the Natty, but he's had some good success. What I'm saying is this, and I said to say this: we ain't paid staff members for the University of Florida. Buddy is and I'm not. Buddy does Gator Bay. I do, 84 Reasons, through Florida Victorious. We are here to do our best. When we're talking about grown men like Scott Stricklin, like Billy Napier, we can be very critical. These are grown men that get paid. When we talk about the players, yeah, we're going to try to err on the side of culture because these are student athletes, even though they get paid now. I think, once again, I'm going to keep saying this. Whatever somebody has done at other schools is great. That is not Florida. And Billy Napier, Dan Mullen, Coach McLaren, Ron Zook, Will Muschamp, all those coaches showed you how hard it is to win. All of them. Every last one of them. And the thing about it is, most teams are saying, hey, man, why didn't Scott Stricklin do what he did? Because he can't go out there and find a slam dunk coach. Not right now, he can't. Not right now. Because no matter who he get, it's gonna cost $9-10 million. Billy, to get him, just to get him. And they ain't won one thing. So, buddy, like I say, it must have been a slow Thursday afternoon in college football ratings, and we lit that on fire. But I will say this, buddy, I'm gonna go back to something you said before the start of the season. You talked about this record. You talked about two things consistently. Can they get to 6 or 7 with this record? And DJ Lagway is the future. You kept saying that this kid is the future. Now, and I'm gonna say this: half of football is what you do. The other half is what they think you could do. Well, we won that other half on Saturday. Man, if that kid would play. My mother works in Riceville, Georgia, right? The home of I can't even think his name. Walker, Herschel Walker, the home of Herschel Walker.
Yeah, just Herschel. There's nobody.
Yeah, and she said when she got to work, she said, obviously surrounded by a whole bunch of Georgia fans. She said all they kept saying was, Miss Troupe, if that Lagway kid wouldn't have got hurt, y'all would have beat Georgia. Let me tell you something, buddy. Sometimes, and I'm not talking about the fans. Who is Billy Napier selling to? Recruits. He ain't selling the fans. They show up if they want to show up, and they gonna show up. Those recruits, they saw that. They saw a top 2 recruiting class scared to death from a unranked 3-loss Florida team that stood toe-to-toe. And for me, buddy, I'm going to keep saying that. That's going to be my thing is how we said, did you win? One. And how did you look in the loss? Did you win? Or how did you? Buddy, we lost. And I ain't doing that moral victory stuff. But, buddy, you know just like I know. If somebody would tell you, buddy, Mar, they're going to be down to their third string quarterback, what you think the score going to be? Oh, God. They down to their third string? Cause, and it wasn't like that, buddy. So, for me, they're playing for him. They playing hard. They are doing that. Now, they got to finish the season out. We'll see what happens. But I just think that Scott Stricklin said, I'm going to give this man one more year with DJ Lagway and the guys around him, LJ McCray, and so on and so forth. And we'll see what happens, because if we even got the – buddy, and I'm going to throw that – just say we got Nick Saban. We wouldn't get him. Even he got to start over because it's Florida. We know And he's the GOAT based off of what he's done. But come on, man. Today was just a weird day because you ain't never seen that. Now, if that becomes a trend, that AD start making statements that show confidence in coaches when they having a losing season and giving extension, who knows? But it's just because, buddy, it's because we ain't never seen that before. I'm like you, buddy. We ain't holding water for nobody. We ain't waving the keep Billy flag, and we ain't waving the white flag either. We ain't doing either one. We just calling a spade a spade. It was weird.
Somebody who they keep saying Lane Kiffin. Okay, I'll accept Lane Kiffin's the best candidate. Let's see what it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you, first of all, around 50 to 60 million to get rid of Napier. It's going to cost you at least 11, 12 million a year for Kiffin. Okay, you say money doesn't matter. Money does matter today because you can buy a football team. Let me reemphasize, you do not want to lose Lagway, and you got some of these young players around him who I think are pretty good for a team that everybody says was poorly recruited. They got some good young talent on that team.
They do.
And you take if the coaching staff is intact, maybe you need to make a change or two. You can argue about the offensive staff and who calls the plays. And I'm not in love with Billy. He did okay against Georgia, I think, fine. And you can do all that. But if you take, again, a business decision, I got $26 million I can spend to get rid of a guy, or I can keep him around and take 15 of that and rebuild my team. Go get players and keep my quarterback potential. I don't know if he won the Heisman. He's a great looking quarterback. Which is a better business decision? That's all I'm saying. It's nothing to do with who I want, because frankly, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer. I just know that what we got is not working, and somebody has to make a move. And I'll give Stricklin credit for having the cojones to go out and make the call. A lot of people are going to hate it, and he's going to take a lot of fire for it. And he may be wrong, but it's like Frangie said, deal with that later. Well, if he's wrong, deal with it later.
But buddy, that's the thing. It's like this. I've been watching Buddy Martin from afar. I think I could do Gator Bait. Based on what I've seen, I think I can do it. Why? Because I'm a pretty good writer. I kind of see what he does. And then you go, all right. Buddy say he going to give you the reins of Gator Bait for 1 week. What you mean? He ain't going to give you the instructions on. He ain't going to give you a roadmap of what he does. You got to make sure all the shows get done, all the articles get written, and it ain't the same thing. Why am I saying that? What we're watching, we're not watching a master class when we watching Billy Napier. We are watching growth. And growth is not pretty. It is not, because I think that right now in college football, right now there are two active coaches with national championships. That's Kirby Smart and Dabo Swinney. That's it. That is the list. To show you how prestigious what we trying to do is, right? Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin ain't never been to Atlanta. He ain't never won no SEC championship, right? Who's been in Atlanta? Kirby Smart, Brian Kelly, right? That's it. That's the whole list in the SEC right now. That's it. So when we get to talking about, hey man, he got to do this, he got to do that. No, he got to win, and he got to win consistently. And then we'll talk about the next thing, right? Because buddy, you know just like I know, right? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you this. Lane Kiffin went 11-2 last year. The talk this year was they're going to Atlanta. Remember? Oh, they going. They got Jackson Dart. They got all these players back. They're not going. And when they come to Florida gets a win. I don't care what has happened with Lane Kiffin. Florida beats Ole Miss. Florida beats LSU. I don't know what's going to happen with Tennessee. With Texas. Florida beats Florida State. Florida beats Ole Miss. And they split between Texas and LSU, and we end up 7-5. What they gonna say? I'm saying, because buddy, that's the thing, right? We forget this is the hardest schedule in the country, regardless of what Florida State ain't doing. It's the hardest schedule in the country. They end up winning 7 games with all the stuff that happened. What they gonna say? Because I'm telling you, buddy, you know just like I know, they got 4 wins, should have 5, maybe even 6. What went on with Georgia, but we 4-4. I'm gonna stick with that. We get
All
the
right.
2 more wins. We get the 2 more wins, maybe. But if we go 7, listen, and I'm looking at Mike. I'm looking at Mike M saying 75. LOL. Think about this though, Mike. Why was we tied 2020 with 6 minutes to go? See, I think what it is right. We just expect Florida to look bad when they haven't looked bad. The last time they looked bad was against what? Texas A&M. That's the last time they looked bad. Like, oh my God. But we'll see. Like I say, I'm a ride this thing out with you, buddy. But today, I'm gonna just sum it all up. It was just weird. It was just extremely weird to see what happened today.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention my sponsor here, and I'm gonna go get Loren Meadows and get his. I want to say something to you. You've been around long enough to know this. The successful programs at Florida. How have they transpired? Where have they come from? Did anybody ever go out and hire a coach for $1 gazillion and say, Spurrier didn't make no $1 million when he came here, or after that? Look, I can take you back as far as you want to go and say, who are the successful coaches? What did they do? There is no blueprint for it. There isn't one. When Urban got hired, a lot of people thought it was a bad hire. They said, well, he's up on a Mountain West Conference, aren't he good? He runs that spunky offense. They didn't think much of him, right? Spurrier almost didn't get hired. People don't realize I was on the inside of that when it happened, talking to the people involved. I can tell you there were some people who didn't want Spurrier as the coach of Florida, right? So that almost blew up. You got lucky somewhat with Urban because the president of the university had come from Utah and wanted Urban. And remember, Steve came in and wanted the job, and they told him they had their guy, basically. So you got Urban. So where was the blueprint for success at Florida where he said, oh, yeah, let's go hire this guy and pay him this much money. He won't be sure to win. It didn't work out very well for Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M, did it? No.
Nope.
It doesn't always equate to let's get this expensive coach and bring him in. And there is a certain chemistry. I don't know if Billy Napier's got it or not. I'm pretty sure I know some of the other coaches they're talking about don't have it. And I'm not willing to say, let's dump Billy over the side and go get some guy who's won 7 or 8 games once. And by the way, in a small conference too. So when you start talking about, Dan Mullen quit on his team. I'm going to say it again. And his team quit on him, and he got a show cause for cheating and recruiting. Don't forget that. Whatever you want to say about Billy, fine. He's not a cheater, okay? He's not a cheater. And I realize choir boys don't always win the championship. I get all that. But people talk about it like it's some magical formula that can go get this guy. Oh, he'll win a championship. You don't know that. There's a lot that goes into that. Let me tell you about my sponsor and go get Loren Meadows. Sponsor, of course, is TitanMRI.com. We talk about if you have to have an MRI and you're a big guy like Ben or me and you don't like to get in one of those tubes. You say, oh, my gosh, I got to get inside that thing. Titan has bigger ones. Titan MRI has a bigger one, and it gives you a little better feeling when you get in that tube because it's not as claustrophobic. And that's one thing of the many things they do to try to make your experience getting an MRI not so traumatic as it is for some. So if you want to go there, they're located in just north of Gainesville. They'll take you. You can get an appointment, and you can get it in off hours. They'll custom make the time for you, night, weekends. So maybe you can't get off your job to get your MRI. And when you need an MRI, you need an MRI. You can't wait for it. Well, what if you don't have insurance? What do? Well, you can go there and get cash or card. They'll give you an MRI, and it's not going to break your bank to do that. I just encourage you, if you don't like having MRIs and you want a different experience, go to MRI, go to TitanMRI.com and find out about how they customize it for you. Our man, Loren Meadows, is somewhere out here. I think Franz Beer might be there too. Like he's just joining. Let's get Loren and both Dan. Let's get Franz in too. Let's have a party. Hello, Francis, and hello to the guy up there who's in his car. That would be Loren Meadows. Francis, they got a win tonight.
Yeah, it's been a blowout. I'll tell you what kind of game it is. Alex Condon has 23 points and has hit 2 3-pointers. So, that kind of game. Walter Clayton only taking about 7 or 8 shots. He's mostly been passing the ball. We've gotten a good look at Elijah Martin, who's a really good ball player. I'm telling you, he's a glue guy. And from a defensive standpoint, he's their best defender, period. I mean, he's really, really, really good. 5 steals tonight. I think he had 4 the other night. And he can defend physically without fouling, and that's hard to do. I was talking with Mike Eads, who's the supervisor of officials from the SEC tonight, who's here, and he said that's hard to do, and but this kid can do it. He's really a big time player, big pickup from Florida Atlantic, and he's the reason that FAU got to the Final Four a couple years ago. He is the chief reason.
I know you're doing basketball, but we're going to switch to football. Loren Meadows is on the line, although you can't. Maybe he's on the line. No, I guess he dropped off. Are you there, Loren? I guess we lost Loren. I want you to talk to you about the situation with Billy, because last night, Ben, Franz called me about 6 o'clock and said, I think we need to go report something about the fact there's going to be a change. And that I think they're going to extend Billy, but I don't have a source willing to say that. And of course, as it turned out, he was right. At 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock our time this morning, they made the change. And Loren joins the program too. Now, let me get you guys to share. Franz, we're talking about this all night long. You kind of saw it coming. Good decision or bad?
Good decision. I can tell you right now, I got really good sources who say Miami is willing to back up a Brinks truck to DJ Lagway, and if Billy were to go, and another source at Georgia who says same thing. It's either you give him another year, or you're going to lose DJ, you're going to lose Jaden Baugh, and you're going to leave a lot of guys. They're returning 19 starters. Come on, guys. Yeah, I know everybody wants to win now, but sometimes you got to be patient. It just happens that way. Sometimes patience pays off, and this is a case where patience is paying off.
Let me get Loren in here while his phone is working. Loren, you hear that? Are you there, Loren? He's traveling tonight. He's on his way to the airport, on his way to Austin. I don't think he's having any luck yet. And we'll keep trying. Yeah, well, Ben and I have been talking about it, and friends, the revelation occurred to me that, again, and we haven't been campaigning for Billy. I mean, we try to play down the middle. We didn't know, but I think based on what we saw after the Georgia game, there was some hope. And then you start evaluating what you have versus what you get. And I think the biggest argument is the $26 million separation fee. You take some of that money and buy some ball players in NIL, as you pointed out in your column today. It's a much better situation, and get yourself maybe a guy to help call plays. I don't know. I think it could be much, much better than it is. I think it was the right call. It may be the wrong call, and we may turn out that way. But right now, given what we're dealing with, Ben, you agree this is the right way to go, right, Ben?
Yeah, I think, and I think it might be the only way to go right now. I think DJ Lagway, what they said, he's already been on there to prove of him, coming back. They're gonna say what's the money they're gonna save in the buyout. They're gonna have to be aggressive in the NIL, which is the new thing. And I see a lot of people saying things like Florida is officially a joke now. No, they're not. I think the thing is, Florida has gained national appeal and national expectation, friends and buddy, because the whole world has seen how good we can be when we are at our best. We ain't at our best right now, but I'm going to keep on saying this. You give me the third string quarterback on any team against Georgia on a neutral field, is it going to be tied 20-20 with 6 minutes left in the game? I bet you that's no.
I know Franz has got a tight deadline. He's got to go right, but I want to get his thoughts real quick and let him go. Loren, can you hear us yet? Loren Meadows. Well, he's in there, but he can't apparently hear us. All right, go ahead, Franz. Wrap up your feelings, your thoughts about where this goes and where we stand now.
I think that Florida's in a position where you need to, if you want to keep the guys intact. You got 19 starters returning. And the way this team feels about Billy Napier, I think that it's a no-brainer to keep him a year. there are times when you just have to be patient, and I think this is one of them. I don't. I thought after the Texas A&M game, I thought that Billy was done, but what happened with them since the open date, and I understand he made adjustments with how the coaches coach, et cetera, like that. I think since then, Florida has played like we thought they were going to play this year. Had they played like this against the Aggies and against Miami, I think we might have been looking at a different story. DJ Lagway's the real deal. And I'll throw something, guys, throw something at you guys. Badger and DK are both COVID guys. They can come back. And if I'm those guys and I got a guy that can throw it like that, I'm coming back. Hey guys, I got a rumble. So
All right, thanks. Franz Berry will be posting his piece tonight on GatorbaitMedia.com, and he's the best basketball writer around here, and he's also not a bad football writer. All right, Franz Berry. I don't think we ever got through to Loren. Loren, I don't guess you can hear us because I keep asking you.
I can hear you.
Okay, there you go. All right, well, go ahead and give us your take on the decision of Billy coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of those things where with recruiting. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think with recruiting, it had to be done so they could change the messaging. I think at this point in time, with signing day about 2 to 3 weeks out, it was just important to make a decision so they could actually change the messaging, because you surely recruits were asking, well, what's going to happen? What's going on with Napier? And nobody had a definitive answer. So I think it was purely based on recruiting. And like you said, buddy, is there a chance that he may or may not? I mean, you don't know who's going to be available. So I thought it was a good move.
Yeah, I see we must be in the minority because most of the people seem to hear a lot of people are saying they think it's just mediocrity. They're saying that Florida's not serious about football. The national media is saying it's a joke, etc. I don't know of a single person I know well who knows the program who thinks it's a terrible move. It might not be the popular move. Everybody I've talked to who's close to the program, who knows about it, thinks it was the right thing to do. I've said it. I said it last night before it happened. It was the right way to go. It doesn't mean you're right. So we're going to have it's like the election, Ben. There's going to be some friction in this decision, and some people will be happy with the outcome.
Of course, and buddy, look, let me say this: every fan on this chat board that's giving their opinion, I respect it, and we can agree to disagree. I think Loren hit it on the head. Early signing day has changed the game in coaching. These recruits are watching. So you want to keep the guys you got. You bring a DJ Lagway back, and I ain't even know 19 starters coming back. 19. And for those people that don't think starters coming back make a whole season, look at what's going on in Tallahassee. And not to compare the two. I just say how we finish the season is still out there. You still got, Texas, Ole Miss, LSU, Florida State. How you gonna finish the season? But people have a problem with the statement. Billy Napier was coming back for 2025. They just go ahead and eliminate all doubt right now. People don't like the fact that they came out and said he's coming back. Well, he was coming back for 2025. Scott Stricklin just made a statement. When people saying Florida is a joke, I don't believe that. When people say people gonna get disinterested, I don't believe that. When people say people ain't gonna show up, I don't believe that either. People gonna show up. And when I'm saying people, I'm talking about Gator Nation. Because national pundits care about what goes on in Gainesville. Whether you root for Florida or not, you're going to be watching what goes on with them. So, hey, man, yeah, Scott Stricklin did something that's never been done, but at the same time, I heard a stipulation, buddy, is Billy Napier got to hire an OC. It's going to make life so much better for him. Hire an OC. He's going to have to make some changes within the program. But, Loren, something we talked about before you came on, I said half of football is what you do. The other half is the perception of it. Well, we didn't win on Saturday, but the perception was won because we were still in the game with 6 minutes left to go with a third-string quarterback. I'm just saying.
Well, you see a team that's playing better. I mean, that's the thing. Not only are they playing better, but they're playing well. And the games we're talking about, outside of maybe looking bad against Miami and Texas A&M, I mean, games at Tennessee, the cocktail party, those were toss-up games anyway. And like you said, they were in the Georgia game with not only a third-string quarterback, but their fifth and a half corners. I mean, I think that's something that you got to look at this team and see improvement. Could there be a situation where you could have got rid of Billy Napier? Yes, you could have, but the decision had to be made because right now you had a lame duck coach and there was no way to get this thing going from a recruiting standpoint. And I think even still, with the decision being made today, that they're going to have to be heavy in the transfer portal because he doesn't have any leeway. Now, next year, the schedule's a little better because I think it's kind of front loaded, a little soft, and they don't go to Miami till like September 20th. So like you said, people are going to show up because they're going to probably start the season at 3-0. Because I think they got USF, FAMU, and somebody else before they go to Miami on the 20th of September.
Yeah, I want to say I wish people are going to be careful about making generalized statements. And I appreciate opinions. And less toolish, wherever you are, you seem to know what you're talking about. But when you make a comment like one of our rivals is sorry to hear Billy's coming back, how do you know that? Have you talked to them? You don't know that. I know what you're saying, and you're referring to the fact that they think he's not a good football coach and they're happy and he's a loser. I get all that. But don't make a statement that not one of our rivals is sorry. You don't know that, all right? Just say what you know. And look, I know it's not one of those decisions that sets the world on fire. You think, wow, look at those Florida Gators. We're scared to death of them. They brought Billy Napier back. I think we're going back to what we're trying to do here. And again, I do not want to be the one who's carrying the flag and carrying water for Billy. I never have been. I like Jerry Frazier's approach here when he says he's tried and true Gator no matter what. But the bottom line is it's better than anything we've heard from anybody else. We're pretty smart guys. We know we follow the football, national football scene. We know good coaches. We can't, other than Lane Kiffin, who, by the way, I'm not 100% sold on. We can't come up with a name of somebody who would be a better coach than Billy. That's just the way it is. I mean, if you hadn't got an answer, a better answer, take what you got.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where we are now it's just so many unknowns, and Billy Napier has done some good things, but like I heard Ben say earlier, it's just he's failing on Saturday. And like I've said before, that's what you're judged on. But in this climate and with signing day around the corner, a decision had to be made. And I was in Oxford. They were going to die on the cross before they let Lane Kiffin get away from there. So it seems like the only name that people will really accept is Lane Kiffin. And I'm going to say it was about a 5% chance that Lane Kiffin was coming. So now what?
Yeah, I don't know.
And let's face it, they won't Lane Kiffin because of his offensive production. But the whole thing about it is, right, Lane Kiffin got to play. Lane Kiffin still got to play Georgia every year now. He still got to play Texas. And I know they're going to play everybody. It's not like, look, what 11-2 at Ole Miss is great. Could you imagine if Billy Napier went 11-2 and didn't go to Atlanta? They're going to go crazy over there. Mm-hmm. Oh, he went 11-2, but he still ain't beat. I'm telling you, at a place like Ole Miss, nothing against Ole Miss. That's Ole Miss. And it's not like it's a lesser program, but it's different. Florida is saying, look, man, we want to get the guy that can win games consistently, not blow games late, right? And I think with a guy like Billy Napier is, look, Billy Napier is realizing real quick. You ask the average person, and this is just keeping it 100. They're gonna say, hey man, what is Lane Kiffin coach football? This is an average fan. They're gonna be like, Lane Kiffin? College football. I don't know. What about Billy Napier? Somebody coach in Florida? Everybody knows him. And Lane Kiffin is a good coach for where he's at. But coming to Florida, that's a whole different monster. Lane Kiffin knows it. Ryan Day knows it. James Franklin knows it. And anybody you name, yes, you're going to pick up the call of 352 pop up on your phone. You have to. But they're going to say, ooh, the money is always going to be intriguing. But you know what you signed up for. like I said, I do agree with you, Loren, man. I mean, the decision had to be made. Early sign today has changed the whole game for recruiting and coaches. And when you got a DJ Lagway, and I saw somebody say 19 starters, you're going to have to find a way to keep them guys on the roster. We get that part. But if you kept 15 of them, that's still a lot of guys coming back on both sides of the ball. Like I say, Billy is who we got, and we kind of knew he was going to be the coach in 2025. Only difference is the AD made a freaking statement about it, and now people going crazy. If that make you, if making you a joke is because your AD comes out and say your head coach is coming back, and going undefeated a year before, and anyway, I'm not going to talk about no other schools. I'm going to just leave it alone.
We're going to wrap it up here, but let me just say this is not at all what I said, Wolf Gator. And I did not say this, and don't put words in my mouth. But you think there is no one better than a 15 and 18 coach? That's unreal. Did I ever say that? I never said that. That's not, you completely blew the whole context of what I said. I never said nobody was better than Billy. I said, I don't know if Billy's the right person. I don't know. I said, bring me somebody right now who's a better coach candidate than what you got, and do it for less money. All right. And don't put me in a position of defending or carrying the flag for Billy. I didn't make this decision. I think it was the right one, and I think it will prove to be the right one. I don't know. Let me stop there and say, let me give you guys the last word. In a year, will we be regretting this decision, or will it be the right one, Loren?
Man, it's tough to tell. I mean, I don't know if it's regretting it, because like I said, you have to be realistic, and regret would mean that you could have got somebody else. Now, you might regret not giving Lane Kiffin a call a couple years ago when you hired Billy Napier, but I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna believe in DJ Lagway. I'm gonna say this is gonna work out. It'll work out for the better. I'm gonna go there. I'll say that.
All right, Ben.
I agree. I think it is going to work out for the better, because I think the thing about it is when it comes to a Billy Napier and you talk about a list of complaints, he had a page full, and the one main thing we kept saying was how the team looked on Saturday. Loren said he had a Monday through Thursday problem. Now they're looking better on Saturday. Now they ain't won, but since Texas A&M, that's the last time they looked bad as far as like the whole game. They lost to Tennessee, should have won. Lost to Georgia, we get the circumstance. So I think now I do agree with what you say, buddy. You could get somebody different. That don't make him better. Of course you can get somebody different. But Florida is a different monster, because last time I checked, since Spurrier and Urban Meyer, we've been trying to find the next, haven't we? We've been trying to find the next one of them since they've left. That's how hard it is. And right now in college football, only one coach has won an SEC championship currently. That's it. He's in Athens. Nobody else has. Just saying. Well,
they're wanting us to be fortune tellers now and explain and predict what they'll do next year. Let's just say, of course, life, you make decisions based on what you know today. In business and family life, you make decisions based on what you think today. Projections. Whether you're buying stock, whether you're trying to get your kid educated, whether you decide to stay married or get divorced, you're making decisions today based on the best available information. Based on that theory and where this program was going and needed to go, I agree with my colleagues, and Franz said the same thing. This was the right decision for right now. Will it be next year? I don't know. Right now, today, it's the right decision. Ben, thank you so much. Loren, thank you for battling through the elements. Appreciate that. And also,
yes, sir.
Covered basketball. You guys are great. Appreciate you. Have a good weekend.
Sir.
Enjoy Texas. All right.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Lauren headed out to Austin to take in the ball game. All right, folks, I want to say thank you to all of our guests and our sponsors as well. We appreciate, we mentioned Red Star Medical Research earlier, Titan MRI, and of course, a very special group of people that we do care a lot about at Red Star Medical Research in Ocala. They've been a sponsor of ours for a long time. They do great things for the community, for our health. They're great people. Scott Brantley's wife, Mary Brantley, is one of the partners in the business. She and Joe Sorrentino were friends in high school, started the business. They brought a great service to our healthcare, and they've been doing it successfully for a long time. So we do appreciate what they do. Meanwhile, they need your help. They like to know if you can help them identify what we need to do in adjusting our prescriptions for people. And they do that through these clinical trials. They want to do some testing. And they'd like you to join them if you qualify. They do a lot of these. They've done over 800 of them so far. And they would like you to take part in these trials, which is very simple. You sign up if you see something that you think you might like to try. In some cases, you get investigational medicine for free, or you get equipment, and you try this out and you see how it works for you. And they gauge your information and send it off to these companies so they can do a better job of serving us in the medical community. Check them out. Good people, good service, and good project. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers for the health questions of today. Once again, thank you to Ben Troupe. Great job, Ben. And thank you very much for Franz Beard doing double duty, covering the basketball game and stepping in here to do the show. Loren Meadows, who's on his way out to Texas. So we'll enjoy a weekend there of Texas barbecue and football and at DKR. And thanks to Frangie for stopping by to help us out with it. Have a good night, folks. Have a good weekend.